Greetings, all you Jacks and Jennets, and welcome to your daily dose of donkey with Ginger. It's time for the BugCap coming to all of you after a Steelers win in Carolina moves the Steelers to 6-8. It's 24-16 the final score. It's the BugCap time, but I'm joined by George today. How we doing, JD? Good day? Yeah, nice to see the Steelers win.
Yeah.
Any thoughts about the game?
No.
None at all, but it's nice to see TJ Watt show up again and look like his old self. See Mitch Trubisky take care of the football and not turn it over. Any other outside thoughts going on in this game, or are you just happy to be here?
Yes.
Yes, you have outside thoughts? Well, let me know when you get them. Let's talk about this game. All in all, Steelers, like I said, win 24-16. Another typical Steelers performance against a bad team. You never really seem to dominate the bad team, but you don't lose to the bad team. That seems to be a Mike Tomlin thing, but the issues that I think are plaguing the Steelers continue to show themselves again this week. I mean, it was nice to see the running game get out there and have 40 carries, but still, when you look at the averages, I mean, Najee averaged 3.6 yards a carry, 3.5 yards a carry from Jalen Warren, Trubisky at 1.5 yards a carry. I mean, the yards per carry were not there. They had to be perfect essentially on third downs. And they were pretty good on third downs, and they, I believe, converting 75% of their third downs. Nice receptions by Deontay Johnson making people miss, but he was under 10 yards a catch. It was the typical Steelers offense out there where because a team like Carolina is not able to get off the field on third down, the Steelers were able to capitalize, and that's what you need to do against bad teams is when they give you the opportunity to take them. But still, the issues that plague the Steelers still seem to be evident in this game, didn't they? But the offense got the job done. They scored 3 touchdowns. All 3 trips getting down there, getting rushing TDs was nice to see, wasn't it? Yeah, and no turnovers is a huge part of the game on offense. Just, though, a little concerning when you consider no targets getting thrown to guys like Pat Freiermuth. And, I mean, those are guys that need to get in the game. Pickens caught 2 for 53. Deontay caught all 10 at him for 98. It was an efficient day all in all. I mean, Trubisky completed 77% of his passes at 8 yards an attempt. There were a couple explosive plays in the pass game, I guess. Well, one really, with Pickens' 38-yard reception and a 22-yard run by Steven Sims. That was the other explosive play. But limited explosive plays. This is a Carolina team that both cornerbacks ended up getting hurt in some way, shape, or form during the game. And the Steelers did what they needed to do. They put up the 24 points, and, well, that's it. But, again, just the problem why the Steelers can beat these bad teams and not the good teams are the things you're looking at. I mean, the explosive plays were limited again on offense. They really didn't attack the middle of the field, although I feel that's more because Mitch Trubisky struggles when you attack the middle of the field. So it was like they were avoiding the middle of the field in the passing game, which actually worked out really well as Trubisky controlled the ball well. The running game, though, again, back to that under 4 yards per carry thing is very alarming going forward. And more importantly, something that needs to be brought up early in this before we get to talking about the defense, which I thought played a pretty good game, is dumb, undisciplined penalties. I mean, Deontay Johnson getting a taunting penalty. How does that happen? And then a fringe roster guy like Marcus Allen getting a penalty that continues a Carolina drive late in the game because he wants to get in the other team's trouble and talk smack. This has been a problem with Mike Tomlin teams for at least the past 5 years, I want to say, is they just don't seem to have the discipline. They're always near the top of the league in pre-snap penalties. They're always making really ill-advised taunting penalties. This is becoming a team that seems to really lack leadership, don't you think, George? What do we need to do to fix it? We need to bring in someone who can bring in discipline or something? Maybe a disciplinary coach. That's the whole job, is to make sure that pre-snap procedural things and this team is held accountable. But it just feels like from top down there's a lack of accountability in this team in those situations, don't you think? Yeah. I mean, but that is what it is. Special teams were unnoticeable, which is a good thing for this, so we won't talk about that. Like I said, I thought the offense did a good job, although really the issues that plagued them the whole year are still there. The lack of big plays, the having to convert longer conversion downs. That's not a recipe for success when you play good teams, and that's what you've seen with the Steelers. Now, defensively, Pretty decent day. Absolutely held Deontay Foreman in check. I mean, you're talking no Carolina running back averaged even 3 yards a carry. That's pretty successful, huh? Yeah, that running game was stopped. But then when you talk about Carolina, they were a team with a subpar offensive line. We did what we needed to do. And that's what matters. You show up against your opponent there. But this is also a team, don't forget, that's traded Robbie Anderson, arguably their number one receiver. They traded Christian McCaffrey, definitely the best player on the team. And Baker Mayfield, who allegedly won the quarterback competition. They traded their top skilled player in all three big skill positions on offense. So this is a expected result from our defense, don't you think? Yeah, and I mean they play pretty good. It was nice to see the Steelers pressure the quarterback again with Cam out there having a good game. T.J. Watt finally looking like T.J. Watt. Alex Highsmith adding a sack. Really good to see the pass rush getting going, wasn't it, Georgia? Who do you think he had the best game on the pass rush? Hayward, Watt, or Highsmith? Hayward, you thought Hayward did it? Of course you did. You had that big Cam jersey. You know you were going to rep him. Love to see that. But when we look at the things, the passing defense was a little suspect in this game. Darnold completed 60% of his passes. That's not bad, but 9.8 yards per attempt with a touchdown. I mean, yeah, the pass rush got there, but when they were throwing the ball, they were pretty successful against the secondary. I mean, Minka wasn't doing too good in coverage. Both the corners seemed to get abused. Linebackers weren't doing great in coverage, although Bush, I think, had a pretty solid game. Do you think our pass coverage could have used a little improvement? Yeah. Me too. I agree with you on that. But it's good to see the pass rush get out there. Great to see us finally stop a team running the ball. And ironically, it was without our best, quote unquote, best run staffer, Miles Jack. And when I've been watching games, you see Jack out of position a lot. So maybe just having Spillane and Bush or Spillane and Robinson, since Spillane's the guy who played the whole game, be in the proper position was huge for the Pittsburgh Steelers, having linebackers in the proper position. As Devin Bush played only about half the snaps, but arguably one of his best games of the year, don't you think? Yeah, it's good to see Devin Bush out there playing a good game. Then talk what you want to talk about. The Pittsburgh Steelers did win. That is correct. And it was a great one to see. And that's what I mean. The players went out there, they did their thing. They were all in the proper spots, making the proper plays. Devin Bush had a pretty darn good game. The pass rush had a good game. Spillane played a good game. This is what you expect against lesser opponents. Like I said, though, the issues are still plaguing them there. When the pass rush didn't get there, the secondary couldn't cover. And it's been the same problems with the Steelers from year to year. And more importantly, what I want to see a Pittsburgh Steelers team do, which we haven't probably seen in 3-4 years, is have one of those elite performances. You know, a 40-point game on offense, a defensive game where you hold an opponent under 10 points. One of those elite performances is what the Steelers need to showcase against one of these poor teams to make you feel that they're on the verge of becoming a competitor again, is how I feel. But in terms of this Carolina game, there's not much to complain about. It was a good game, a good solid win, wire to wire. Again, Steelers win the first quarter. The Steelers win the game 6-0 when they do that. Wire to wire wins are the way the Steelers have been getting it done this year, Georgia. Or what you think? Yeah. All right, Jordy. Well, that wraps up our cap. This is time for you to give a shout out. So, anyone on the game you want to give a shout out to? Anyone you thought did awesome? How about Cam Hayward? He had a good game. You want to give him a shout out? Your jersey? And that's a shout out to Cam Hayward. Now that we're done with the recap, we're going to go ahead and give some sad news to Steeler Nation. The passing of Franco Harris right before the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. Sad to see him go. Steeler legend. I mean, guy, when you go to Pittsburgh Airport, he's the guy who greets you there. And you just have to say something special for him. What an amazing person he's been for the Steelers. I probably should have started the show with that, but I'm going to start the Steelers talk with that. Be sure to tune in for Steelers Talk this week, the Power Ranking show this week. But for me, for George, that's it, Dog Nation, Steeler Nation. We love you. Wave them if you got them. Say, here we go, Steelers.